Well, when we're first dating, if I go on a date with someone and they want to go half and half, I have no problem, but you will never see me again.
Mm,
You will
you
never
heard
see
that,
me again.
ladies? You heard that,
You will
ladies?
never see. But that's me. That's me, right? So call me old school, but I want to take care of you and I want you to take care of me. And to me, those are in different ways,
Yes.
right? I want to be cared for somebody and I want to understand what that means for them. But if the expectation is that I'm going to go 50-50 every single time, it's going to be hard for me. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, especially on a first date. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Tong. Super excited to be back with another guest this week. Really excited to continue our Boss Era series this month. And I'm sitting down with some pretty amazing women. So today I am here with Jessica Rivera. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Super excited to be here.
Thanks for coming. So can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what you do, who you are?
Yeah, so I am an executive coach and business consultant. I love to work with high achieving people to help them make sure that their outside accomplishments match what's going on the inside. So I typically work with people who have already achieved a lot, right? I mean, I'm not going to say that they don't have imposter syndrome, but they've done plenty. But typically, there is still something missing, and I can so identify with that. So I really help them realize what's going on the inside and make sure that it matches all of the accomplishments on the outside. And I do that through communication, making sure that they're communicating exactly what they want, exactly what they need, their accomplishments, no matter who is in the room, along with mental models, mindset, things like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's important too, because as women, we can have imposter syndrome. Not saying men can't, but I think as women, like when we are stepping into new roles or we're trying to step into maybe a role of an entrepreneur, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, but we can have like this imposter syndrome of like, I'm not this person that I'm trying to become. So I love that.
Yeah. I mean, whether it's imposter syndrome or it's mainly like that negative voice inside of our minds that we just have not been able to quiet down for whatever reason, even with all of the external accomplishments. And so that's really what I dig into.
Yeah, I love that. I actually met Jessica. Well, not met in person. This is our first time meeting in person, but I was introduced to her during a panel that I went to an event. I don't know if you guys know Kara Allwill. She's amazing. She's an author. She's a boss babe. But so Jessica was on this panel. They were talking about dating, right? Yeah. Dating is women, dating is boss women. And I want to dive a little bit deeper into that topic today.
Well, it was funny because on that panel, Kara actually asked me, she said that she said I could come off a little intimidating, right? And I said, well, that's funny. Someone just texted that to me.
Wow.
But I think on the other side is that, sure, people can say I'm intimidating, but then other people have said that, I express an amazing balance of kind of that external, yes, I got this, I'm going to do this, and then that loving, caring, soft side. And so that's really something I've worked on mastering for many years.
Yeah.
So, I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah. That balance of like feminine, masculine energy, which we need as boss women. Like we need that masculine energy to be able to get things done. So tell me a little bit about, we don't have to go super deep, but can you bring up like a recent dating experience where maybe you weren't on the same page or it didn't meet your expectations?
Yes. I don't know if this was recent, but I will tell you about a time where I was out, we were out and something happened. And in my mind, I'm like a switch just flipped. And I said nothing and did nothing at the time. But the very next day, because I wanted everything to kind of calm down a little bit, but I wanted also to address it right away. And the very next day, I said to that person, hey, what happened last night? Because I obviously triggered you. Because that wasn't like you. I've never seen that side of you before. So I guess walk me through what happened. Now, luckily, the person at the time was open and was like, well, yes, now that I think about it, blah, and kind of walked me through the thought process. But I think if we address it in a way that's compassionate, right? It's like, I know something went on. This is not normally you. what happened, or I'm seeing a new side of, when we're dating or when we don't know somebody very well. Listen, the bottom line is we're going to trigger each other.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to trigger people and the other person may trigger me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have to be compassionate with people and say, okay, well, what's going on right there? But the other person also has to be open to thinking, okay, wait, what was that really about?
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good example of, I think, something that we need to do a little bit more of.
Yeah. Did you ever, so okay, I want to actually go back to the guy or whoever was texting you saying that you were intimidating.
Oh yeah.
What was that situation, and do you feel like you were at that time?
But I didn't know this person.
Okay.
So I didn't know this person. I had never seen this person in person.
Yeah.
And so when I think about a person who tells me that, especially a person who doesn't know me, has never really had any real in-person interaction with me, I think that they are probably intimidated by something that they see online. And it says probably more about them than it does about me.
Right.
Because you don't even know me.
Right.
You made up a story in your mind about whoever I am.
Yeah.
And so that's fine. I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Now the person did have my phone number because we met one time at a networking event. But they didn't know, they never took the time to actually get to know me. And so for whatever reason, I was intimidated to him, but that also tells me that probably isn't my person. So that I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah. And it's not your problem. Like when other people have assumptions or they have opinions or judgments about us, like that's not up to us. Like that's on them.
Well, that definitely was a you problem.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I do think and I believe that as leaders, we are responsible for the words that we say, and we are also responsible for how they land. I do believe that. But this person never gave me a chance to even get to know me on a professional level or on a personal level. And so, again, that says, I think, more about them than it does about me.
Yeah.
But I do take responsibility for the way my words land. And if they do land wrong, then I'm open to saying, okay, well, let me try that again, or let me let you know where I was coming from, or. But I think both sides, again, have to take responsibility.
Right. And at least give the opportunity to open the conversation, to have the conversation.
Right.
Do you find that right now, can I ask, are you dating? Are you in the dating
I am
world?
dating. I am single. I'm single.
Okay.
I'm not dating as much as I probably should, but I am single.
Right. Okay. You're out there, but not like actively looking, maybe.
No, it's like in my head, I'm actively looking, but I'm not actively dating. So that's the problem.
Yes. With most of us women. I feel like, so a lot of my friends who are either entrepreneurs, boss women, whatever you want to call them, business owners, I feel like they're going through this phase right now. And you can tell me if you relate, where a lot of them aren't even interested in like dating right now. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm single. Like, it would be nice to find my person, but I'm not actively putting myself out there because the pool of what's there is like, I don't know, like my business is a little bit more important right now. Like that's what I'm hearing from most of the girls in my circle.
Yeah, that's not where I am, but I could understand that. I think for me, I never really dated. I haven't really dated in a very long time, very actively, because I was in a very long-term relationship. And if I was honest with myself, when I think back, I focused a lot on my career to numb myself, to not have to address other things that were, that I needed to address, like why I would pick emotionally unavailable men, right? But I also was emotionally unavailable. So I think that when we are available and when we make ourselves available to do the tough work and to truly understand, okay, what is really going on here? And it may be a phase where you want to focus on your business. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But I think looking back for me, I always had a very full life. I had kids young, so I had kids at the time. I mean, I still have kids, but they're grown now. And I have friends that, if I want to be out every single night, I could be out every single night. And I've always been that way. But what I realized is that that is a way I use to kind of numb and not address
Mm.
my healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's common too, not just in women, I think in men too.
Yeah.
I think it's very common for men to not address what's going on, but you know, I think they're more likely to go out and date and to be free in that sense and not really check in with what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk a little bit about friendship. So you brought up, you know, you have a full life, you have all these friends. Have you gone through any transformations or changes with your friends? Maybe losing friends as you're stepping into this role of being a boss, of being an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So definitely, yes. The short answer is yes, I definitely have. And when I think back about even growing my career in corporate, there was still shedding going on, even in corporate, because the conversations are different, the thought process is different. And I believe that even now, in every kind of era of our growth, there is some shedding that needs to be done. And that was actually part of what I was speaking about with my group of ladies in my coaching group this week, is that there's been a lot of signs for me to continue to shed some relationships that still have to go in my life. Yeah.
What does that process look like? Because I'm in a similar process, more so shedding people that I've worked with and business relationships and clients and things like that. But what does that look like for you? Like, is this a decision that's usually made on your part, or is it a mutual thing? Is it usually a discussion
Yeah.
that's taking
Well,
place?
this is exactly what I coach on. So I love when it happens to me because it's a reminder that I also have to buckle up and have those difficult conversations. And I'll give you an example that's happening currently. And I think especially when you are a coach and you're saying all the things of what should be done externally, sometimes that gets misconstrued when you are then the client, right? And so for my service providers out there, we have got to check ourselves, right? And so, for example, I have a client, I have clients, and they cancel sometimes, right?
Yeah.
They cancel.
Mhm.
And so for me, let's say we made an agreement and we have to meet twice. We agreed to meet twice a month and you cancel on me. Yes, it's your responsibility to reschedule, but it's also my responsibility to remind you.
Yes.
Because I have a service that I am providing for you.
Yes.
Right. And if you forget and I forget and we move on to the next month, you're not going to say, oh man, I forgot. You're going to say, why didn't she remind me? Because you are paying me. Right.
Agreed.
Okay. So, I have somebody who is providing a service for me. And while I'm busy, sure, of course, I am your client. I am not coaching you. So it is your job to remind me, hey, Jess, can we do this date? Can we do that date?
Agreed.
Now I start thinking, oh, wait a second. What has been delivered? And I start looking at the contract, and the contract is not matching what's delivered. And of course, before you know it, we're 3, 4 months, 5 months in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now we're going back. Now I have to have a whole conversation around what are the deliverables, what has been already delivered, and does it match the agreement? And now I know that it doesn't.
Yeah.
So now we have to have that difficult conversation around, okay, well, why wasn't it delivered? Or, to be honest, as a client, do I even care why it wasn't delivered? Or do I just know it's not delivered and now I no longer want to do business?
Right.
And these are all kind of conversations you have to have with yourself prior to going in, and understand, how do you want the conversation to go? Do you want an explanation? I mean, I don't know that I want an explanation. I think I have to walk in deciding on what I want the relationship to look like after the conversation.
Yes.
Right? So what is it that I want? And what is it that I want to make the other person feel? And typically, I don't want to make the person feel bad. I just want to make the person understand, hey, this is where I stand.
Yes. Yes, that makes sense. As a coach or as a person who's providing a service, you do have to be clear, right, in your expectations and what you're offering, but also being able to take ownership of, like, hey, I messed up. Or
Taking ownership. Exactly. And I think because there was a messages back and forth, and I almost got the feeling like the expectation was put on me to, like, why didn't I come to that person? And it's like, did you forget I'm the client here? Like, yes, I get it. I talk about communication on my Instagram, and that's what I coach and all of these things. But I'm the client here.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes I want to be told what to do.
Yes.
I don't want to continue thinking for everybody, including the people that are providing a service for me.
Yes.
It should not be that way.
That's why they're hiring the person.
That's why I'm hiring the
for
person. Exactly.
accountability.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I want you to tell me what to do. You're the expert in this field. That's why I hired you.
Right. Exactly. Let's go back to dating. Let's rewind a little bit. So when you are dating, right, do you automatically tell men what you do? Like, is that something that's automatically brought up? Like profession, career, your schedule?
I only bring it up if they do, which,
Okay.
and a lot of, men will ask me what I do for a living. Now, I don't follow right away, right? Or anything like that. But if they want to, that's fine.
Right.
But I will say that I have had guy friends tell me that it is intimidating because, and again, that just tells me they're probably not for me. Because I come across as like they have to have their shit together. And I'm like, well, that's wonderful. I like that. I actually like that. I'm in agreement.
And that's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I mean, for you, right? Some women maybe not, but I think for you and for me, right? Like women who want these things, especially if you are a woman who is being able to provide for yourself and you're showing up for yourself and you're building and you're growing and you're changing, evolving, why wouldn't you want someone to equally do the same or provide more or bring something, more to the table, right?
I mean, a friend told me one time, well, you look really expensive. I said, I am. I am expensive. But I mean, I fund my own life. So yeah.
Right. And you deserve it.
So, I mean, listen, whether I deserve it or not, I want it for me.
Yes.
Right. So, and I do it for me.
Yes.
And so, I think it goes back to when we're in relationship and we want a person to be kind, to be caring, to be compassionate, to have X amount of money, to have X amount of things. We have to ask ourselves, are we also giving that? Right. And so I'm giving that. I love on my friends. I love on my family. I love on the people around me. And so, yes, I expect that in return.
Yes.
I am accountable. You can count on my word. I'm dependable. I'm all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I want that in my partner, right? Everything you love about me, I also want that in return.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
I do have this question, and this is a question that I like to ask women who are creating for themselves, providing for themselves. Would you date or settle down with a man who asked you not to work?
Oh, see, I couldn't.
Okay.
Now, there was a time in my life where I took off a couple of years when my second son was born. And even in that time, I went back to school. I used to volunteer. Maybe I could not work, but I would still be doing something.
Yeah. Yeah. So for you, you need to have your hands in something. Do you feel more fulfilled in life when you're working?
Yeah, I've always wanted to give back. And so, for example, even now I am part of the Leadership Council for Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Long Island.
Nice.
I am waiting to be a big sister. I am volunteering next week at Catholic Charities. So yeah, I've done that. That's just part of who I am.
Yeah. I love that. Have you been wanting to take a heels class for the longest time, but either you don't have heels classes in your area or you've just been too shy to sign up for that class and go for it? Well, I'm super excited to announce that we are officially online. We have heels classes for everyone and anyone, and you can take them any and everywhere. This has been a long time coming. I know so many of you guys have asked if we have online classes, and we are so excited to announce that our classes are now digital. And we have a specific heels fundamentals workshop that you can check out and really get into your heels bag. And the best part about this program is you're not just jumping into a heels class. You're not just jumping into choreography. You will have a full heels fundamentals beginner course where you're able to learn the basics, the fundamentals, how to walk in your heels, your lines, your your shapes, how to feel fluid in your body, how to use your core so that you can feel stable and you don't feel like you're wobbling in your heels every single time. And yes, you might wobble the first 1 or 2 classes, and that's completely normal. But the best part about this is that you can work at your own pace. So you can break up your modules, do 1 module a day, you can repeat them. The Heels program also comes with core and flexibility training, which is what we need to succeed in heels. We have to have a nice, strong, and solid core. And we also need to work on our flexibility so that we can hit those moves and feel nice and sexy and fluid. So if this sounds like something that you're trying to get into this year and you're ready to step into the baddie that you're meant to be, I invite you guys to go check out our Rhythm and Pumps online heels training program 1.0. Okay, be a founding member, get your price locked in, because honey, we are going to blow up this year. I'm telling y'all, and I'm manifesting this right now. So check it out. $19.99 per month. You guys can cancel at any time if this isn't your thing, if it's not working out for you, if you're not really into it. Cancel at any time. No hidden fees, no contracts. Go to our website, www.realrhythmdanceandfitness.com. Head on over to the on-demand tab and check out our memberships. You will not regret it. Looking forward to seeing you. So another question I want to ask you, if you were to meet a man who maybe was making a significant amount less than you.
I knew you were going to ask this question. Go ahead.
How would that, is that something that you would go for? What are the requirements?
I have actually dated somebody. I dated maybe 1 or 2 people who made less money than I did.
And how did that go?
The problem there is that they don't feel confident. And I think also the thought process, significantly less.
Yeah.
There's a different thought process.
Yeah.
And so, I tried it, I did the experiment, but that it didn't work because mainly because they felt like, oh, well, you're going to be upset if we don't fly first class, or you're going to be upset, and making jokes like that. And it's like, what is that about?
So it's not necessarily the money or the income, it's more the mindset. Would you say that?
It's definitely the mindset. But I'm a go-getter, right? So I've always been a hustler mindset. I work hard, play hard. I've always been that way. And so a complacent individual would never be for me.
Yeah.
Would never be for me.
I can for sure agree to that. Yeah. What do you think about men nowadays who want to go half and half, 50-50 on everything?
Well, when we're first dating, if I go on a date with someone and they want to go half and half, I have no problem, but you will never see me again. You will never see me again.
You heard that, ladies?
You will never see. But that's me. That's me, right? So call me old school, but I want to take care of you, and I want you to take care of me. And to me, those are in different ways.
Yes.
Right. And so I want to be cared for somebody, and I want to understand what that means for them. But if the expectation is that I'm going to go 50-50 every single time, it's going to be hard for me. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Especially on a first date.
On a first date, there's no way.
I don't even get the logic behind that. You as a man, I'm sorry, you should be wanting to show that you are able, you're able to provide. You want to provide. You want to take care of me. Yeah. Why are you asking me to take out my wallet?
Yeah. So that's a no for me. For me. Right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with if they do want it. See, I have sons, right? So I get it. Now, I'll say this though. I'll say that I have sons, and I understand that dating is expensive for a man.
Yes.
So I will say this. If somebody wanted to go on a walk in a park as a first date, I'm actually okay with that.
Yes.
If someone wanted to go to grab coffee on a first date, again, I am okay with that.
Yes.
What I'm not okay with is, and I always would let them pick the first couple of dates. Yeah. I'm not picking the first couple of dates because I want you to feel, let's go to a place that you feel comfortable going to. So again, you want to go on a park? You want to go to the park and go on a walk? I actually love that.
Yeah.
You want to go miniature golf? Love it.
Yes.
right? So we don't have to go to Tao. We don't have to go to like, a place where we have to be seen and it's like
Right.
$300 for every date. So I understand dating is expensive for a man.
Yes.
My son actually made a joke the other day. He said, the memes that say arguing used to cost me $180 and now I'm alone and it's like dinner's only $50 or something like that.
Oh
And I
my
died
God.
because, sometimes relationships can be that way. And I
Yes.
understand that.
Yes.
So I understand the logic behind it, but I think you just have to be smart about it, right? You meaning like the men, go to a museum, go do something else that's fun.
Yes, yes. It also allows us to see that they're capable of making decisions and taking the lead, right? When they're able to choose a date or make a decision or, plan something. That's attractive.
It's extremely attractive. Like for me personally, I make a lot of decisions. I've made a lot of decisions my entire life, especially because I had a kid at 19. I lead people and I've led people for a very long time. And so I'm like, order for me. Like
Right.
literally, I'm not a picky eater and I eat a lot. So you order for me. Tell me
Right.
what we're eating tonight. I love
Yeah.
that. Like make a
Yeah.
decision. Like you said, I love a man who's willing to take the lead. So I definitely have a very dominant personality. I have been called alpha before and I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I know is that I am completely okay being submissive
Mm-hmm.
if I know you're going to take the lead.
With the right one.
No
It
problem.
has to be the right one. Yeah. So before we wrap up, can we leave some motivation or some words of inspiration, some positive words for women who are currently thinking about stepping into a bigger role, right? Wanting to start their own business or wanting to step up into a bigger role in maybe their corporate, company, wherever they are.
Mm-hmm.
They want to maybe be seen more. They want to get on Instagram. They want to start their own podcast. What can you tell these women who are maybe in fear right now?
Yeah. Most of the time it's all in our head.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times people see us actually bigger. They'll see like the greatness in us before we do.
Mm-hmm.
But I will also say that if we truly ask ourselves, the quality of our questions matter, the questions that we ask ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if we ask ourselves the right questions, we can get the right answers. Right.
Mm.
And so I'll tell you a quick story. There was a woman who was going on an interview. She's Muslim and she wears a hijab. And she was telling me, I'm afraid. I don't know that they're going to see my value. I don't know that they're going to see my worth. And I was asking her, she's like, I don't think that they like people with hijabs. And I said, why would you say that?
Yeah.
And do you truly believe that?
Yeah.
Like, is that true? And she's like, I guess not. And when we start asking ourselves, is that true about the things that we're even saying about ourselves to ourselves, then I think we can really get to the root of the issue, because a lot of that is just stuff we're repeating from somebody told us that when we were kids. And we're still repeating that to ourselves. We made the choice to make that truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want everybody to challenge themselves, to ask themselves, is that actually true?
I love that.
I think we need to start questioning our beliefs and start questioning every single belief you have and everything you tell yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And write it down. Like, write down the answers. Think about it. Take time to think about it.
Take time to think about it. I mean, even the smallest little thing of like, oh, I'm dumb for that, or that was stupid, or like the name calling, what we say to ourselves. And if anybody needs a book, I love this little book that I've read a million times called The Four Agreements. And the first agreement is to be impeccable with your words.
Yes.
And be impeccable with the words that you say to yourself.
Yes. I love that. Jessica, thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
coming on
having
the
me.
show. This was amazing. I hope that you guys got some value from this conversation. I hope that this was a fun conversation as well. Jessica, can you tell the people where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, so I typically hang out on Instagram at Coach Jessica Rivera, and then I'm also on LinkedIn. Those are the main two places I hang out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We will link that in the show notes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Follow us on Instagram, Wristfit Kitty, and Let's Just Be Real Pod. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast. If you're loving these episodes, rate 5 stars. Let us know what you think. And we'll see you guys in another episode. Take care, y'all. Bye. Bye.